I am not going to go word for word over this handout that we've given, which I made with Tierney, because there isn't time, but I'm going to cover the main topics, and in most cases I'm going to show you a website that somehow relates to what I have to say. So if you're interested in reading this handout, you can. It's just, what I've tried to do is put together kind of a process for you to getting started on a website that includes things that you wouldn't know already, right? You already know you're going to need some money and things like this, right? I don't need to tell you that. I work with typically very, very small nonprofits and very, very small businesses, like, you know, a handful of people. And so this is the stuff that I come across every day and have to explain or participate in the process with people every day, where I'm trying, like, doing what I do is half being an educator. I have to help people understand what's possible, what's not, what's easy, what's difficult, like how, and help them plan their processes for doing things like making a new website or creating an annual report or all this stuff. But I'm going to start with vision. So to make a website or to get a new one, you need to know what you want. And I would suggest that you don't think about the technology first. Just think about what you want, because more and more and more there is free and or nearly free and or easy solutions to make computers and the digital world do what you want. So don't worry about it. Just think about what you want your site to do and what it's about. I used to be an administrator in a nonprofit, and every time I wanted to know what a similar sized organization was doing better than the place I worked, I went to the Stop. They were about the same amount of staff, about the same size budget, but everything they did to me was perfect and slick. And they did it so well and made it look effortless, so whenever I got stuck, I went and looked at how they did it. And I would suggest you consider the same. Look at websites for organizations doing things like you, and especially those that you think, you know, are pulling it off better, or have more money to spend, or that you think have more money to spend. That's part of dreaming and thinking about what you want. This is not totally directly related to your website, but you have, Anna talked about your digital properties, right? So we all, or most of us anyway, have at least something. We have a Facebook page that's associated with our organization, maybe a Twitter page. We might have email marketing, online tools that we use. We have all of this stuff, and nobody keeps track of it. I have made a spreadsheet that will be sent to you in the package that lists very, very common, a list of common digital properties and assets that you probably have. And I have put a place here, you can't see it, but where you will put your username and your password, because I spend half of my days working for about 10 organizations, logging in and out of things, in and out, in and out, in and out. So I need this stuff to do things that I do for people. And I don't know, 50% of the time, people don't know. I'll need a password to do something they want done yesterday, and it will be 3 days before they can track down their password. You've got no excuse. We're giving you a template where you can put all this stuff and keep track of it. Use it. It will be very helpful, I promise. I am also a little bit educator. I said kind of a slave driver too. People put a lot of demands on me to turn things around with particular deadlines and stuff, but sometimes they forget that in order for me to be able to do what I need, they have to give me the things to do it, right? So it's part of the job. People. In this case, I started writing something about your internal staff and who you want on board for your web project, and then I have no idea. That's up to you. So when I say people in this case, I'm talking about your geek. So I've made these silly little icons, and this is a geek and kind of a stylish geek. He's got his little pen protector here and a little mustache, because I guess mustaches are stylish. At least I thought so when I was making this at 2 o'clock in the morning last night. This is A website, it's built on a content management system. I'm not going to tell you which, because you might never want to use it. I work with this organization. It is one person, maybe two, I'm confused, but lovely people, and they needed a website, and they got somebody to do it. And like, you know, it's not super, it's ugly. Like, it's not pretty, and there's nothing interesting about it. It has, like, fairly sophisticated features. Like, people can, like, log into it. For what? I don't know, and I don't think anyone ever has, but it's got it, right? So, I think what happened is the person, like, from the organization managing this project had no idea what they wanted, didn't probably have the time to really think about it, was probably getting pressure from, like, her board of directors to make it happen, and went with the first person that she found that could do anything. This is a geek, this is not a designer, right? Like, and I will show you a site later that is a designer and not a geek. Ideally, you want either two people or a hybrid, someone that can, like, pull off enough of both, right? Because, like, I've talked to this person, and for the amount of money she pays to get the person that built this to update anything, I could make her a more attractive website with the same content in WordPress. I use WordPress. I don't have any doubt Drupal is fantastic, and someday I hope to get to that level of geekness. I'm not there yet. WordPress is easy. It's just easy. Easy. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, but at the beginning I said have nothing that you don't know to be useful. So it is useful and you believe to be beautiful. This kind of leads to that, because geeks, techs, developers, in tech speak this is a perfectly good website. In design speak it's not. And conversely, as Chad is pointing out, it goes the other way as well.
Yeah, come on. So you know, I don't really know how to tell you. Do I even need this microphone? Is it even working? I think I'm loud. Oh, okay, I do need it. Okay. Oh, I'm recording too. Right. So, it is. If you already have like. The kind of work that I like doing most is I like being a partner to the organizations I work with. I'm not like trying to sell you on how great I am, but that's actually what I enjoy. I enjoy like a working relationship with a person or an organization where it's back and forth. Like, I don't want them just telling me what to do, and I want that. I want it to be helpful and mutually beneficial. I think that. And I think everybody would enjoy that, and that kind of thing would be hard to find. But you really put a little bit of effort into finding someone to do your website for you. Ask other organizations that are similar, or like if you work in this building, ask 5 people around you who did their website, and like, was it a pleasant experience? Did they get what they want? It is unbelievable how much work I get without being asked any questions except what it's going to cost. There is, like, however the people get to me, usually it's through a referral, so they don't, like, you know, there's already a little bit of trust there just by default, but even sometimes not. Like, it's just, hey, you do a website, how much? And then we have to start, like, the whole little, what do you want? But, like, it is that simple. Like, I could not have any idea what I'm doing, and I would still be doing it and being paid, right? It's crazy. So just do a little research.
Why do we have unemployment with XML?
It sounds funny, but it's so super important, because it is the #1 cause of failures in projects, in my opinion, when people are focused on the wrong things, like the cost. Not the cost is important, but the most important thing, as has been emphasized here a couple times, is knowing your vision, knowing why this project is important to you, knowing what you're trying to achieve, and you want to make sure you communicate that to the people who are helping you build it. Because if all you're doing is, you know, tracking the costs, or like how much for a website, great, how much for a website plus a database, like as if they're pulled off the shelf or something. If that's your approach to managing a project, that's a very high risk for failure in a project. You will not get what you want for the money you spent, or you will have to spend more, or, you know, all kinds of bad things are going to happen.
Content. I like this website. I like it. This is woodgreen.org, multi-service agency in Toronto. I have nothing to do with them other than I came across this and loved it. You know, and my presentation is not about determining what your content is and this and that and whatever else. I just want to make you aware that part of CMSs is your ability to deliver it in unique ways. And I can't even, I'm almost certain this is built on some CMS, but I don't know for sure. It doesn't matter. It's about content, right? So what I like about this is I like, you know, they're giving you choices. It's not about us, contact us, who we are, vision, our programs. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there isn't, but you can be more creative than that, and your content can be delivered to the users of your website in different ways, right? I also, like from a design thing, I don't know how much you can tell, but these boxes or rectangles aren't actually rectangles. They have these chunks taken out of them. For what reason, I have no idea, and it drives me nuts, but I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with it, because I don't understand it. Like, why do you have this? I don't know, but I like it. Like, I don't know.
It's organic.
There's something. Like, it just, I don't know. It's making me think. And anyway, I really like this site. It's clean, it's nice, and it's like, get help, give now, volunteer. Like, what do you want to do? This is like a portal. This is a way to find out very, very directly, like, how you can do something with Woodgreen. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I totally agree. I think the structure, the way that I've never seen a site before, but this is just so clear the way that they presented things from the point of view of the person who's coming to the website. A major error that people do when they undertake website projects and they're thinking about their content is they present or organize the content in a way that makes sense to the organization because they know what their departments are. Yeah.
When people are developing content for their websites, often they do it from their own point of view, so they know what their departments are, they know what their programs are, they know how their own org chart is structured, and they try to map that onto the website. And somebody comes to the website and they don't know anything about the organization, they're completely confused. So you have to think about what's the point of view of somebody who doesn't know anything about our organization. Why are they coming to the website? Not why would you go to the website, but why are they there? What are the things that they might be interested in doing? The number one things that they're probably there to do, you put those as easy to find on the front page as possible. I strongly advocate putting just simple things like put your phone number and address and like basic stuff like that on the footer of every page. Don't bury it in the contact us page.
What the hell is a contact page about me? Unless you have a contact form with specific questions, but why do you need a whole page for 3 lines of your address, phone number, and an email?
Just think about your own behavior in using the web yourself. How many times do you look up a company's website so that you can phone them or find out where they are? So these are major reasons that somebody visits your website. You got to think about those reasons and make them as easy to stumble across as they are here.
Thank you. That's very true. All right. That's all I got to say about content right now. You need a plan. These are 2 examples of instructions that people have sent to me what they want out of their website. See this red circle? This is one set of instructions. This is a sitemap. This is the pages they want. There are maybe 8 in this list. This tells me something. It tells me a lot of things. It tells me that this website is mine. I can do whatever in the world I want. And because like this person either doesn't have the time, the interest, the knowledge, I don't know it, but I can really, really, really do whatever I want, and it's going to be okay. Because this is it. And you know what? By the time I got the content, I said, well, that's great. We'll go from that. So send me like, what do you want on these pages? This got narrowed down to 4 because they're just like it didn't even match the content she had, her sitemap, right? This is 3 pages. This scared the shit out of me. I had to do my homework before I went to meet with this. This is 3 pages of technical specs, and I don't even know what half of it means. So, but the beauty of working with a content management system, in my case, WordPress, is when we were meeting and she was talking about some of these specifics, all I had to say was, I can't answer that that is absolutely possible, but I'm 90% sure there's a plugin that's going to take care of it. And that's the truth. Like when I have had to look for plugins to add functions and features to websites, I have always found something that does exactly that, or that is close enough, considering, you know, a plugin is like 5 minutes of my time to install compared to having to develop such a feature in, you know, for a CMS site or an HTML, which could be hours and hours and hours, if not days of development and money. Yes?
So what do you mean by a plugin?
A plugin. Plugins is what Julian was talking about with modules. So they're just mini little pieces of things that will make your website do more stuff. Like a scrolling banner? I mean, it's not so much a thing these days, but think about having like scrolling pictures across the top of your web page. In WordPress, there's at least 10 of them there where you just like click the pictures and set the scroll speed, and all of a sudden you have a banner scrolling across your page. Like, you know, 15 minutes worth of work instead of having to code and develop something like that. And it's unbelievable, right?
Another great example would be,
and we pretty much use it for every site we build, is a gallery page. So you can plug in a gallery page that does a specific type of rollover that's flashy and very interesting, or maybe has tiny little pics on the side. And it's so easy for you because you just upload the photos and the plugin does everything.
I think that's what WordPress 3.
Yeah. These are very specific flashy ones, but yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, not everybody has the time or interest or even the content necessarily to build some big, crazy, dynamic site that's going to be updated every day and everything else. So, but, you know, think about what you can do, what you actually can maintain, and build for that. And think about what you need now and what you might need about 2 years down the road. I wouldn't think too far in the future because you will never be able to anticipate your every need, and because 2 years in internet time is like eons, right? Like I mean, I'm exaggerating, but all these CMSs could be replaced by better things by then, which is not going to happen. But the point being, like, don't go overboard, but just think, you know, here's where I'm at right now, and I can see maybe adding, you know, a little bit more stuff. So whatever framework and structures and systems, just have it in the back of your mind, what might I want to add a little bit in the future that I'm not able to do now. Another thing, just as much as planning for your website now and the new site and the new content and everything else, is how you are going to maintain it, right? So people will build sites that will have functions or features, or they'll want to add these things to it, but they never think about how and when and who is going to do this stuff, right? And this is a thing that I come across all the time. Well, you know, I want, you know, a newsletter, and we're going to email a newsletter out every month, and it's going to go on our website. And it's like, okay, so, you know, if I build the place for this website to exist, and you don't actually end up doing this, like, it's going to be empty. Like, there's going to be nothing there. When I used to be an administrator at it was at Sketch, which is over there, Art Studio for Street Involvement and Homeless Youth, and when I first started, they got a website built, and it's a beautiful website. It's still up now, and it has oddly stood the test of time. Like, and this was 10 years ago, right? So, very, very nice website, but they built a gallery, photo gallery section that up until like 2 years ago still said coming soon. Like, don't do it. Like, if you can't actually, if you can't actually, you know, come up with the content to populate stuff like that, then don't do it. Just be realistic in what you're able to do. Do the best you can. Just be realistic about it. And yeah. Plan part 2. This is gorgeous, like absolutely stunning. It is, there is no plan. This is, I don't know all the ins and outs of this. I didn't build this, whatever, but I know that this was made for an organization for a capital campaign, and specifically for a one-night event that was the launch of this campaign. So for a one-night event, this is beautiful. Like you know, that'll like capture your attention. It'll get you hooked.
It's custom built. It's not a template.
No, this is HTML.
Oh.
Like this is just, yeah, totally custom built. But I don't know if any of you have been part of a capital campaign, but if you're trying to raise like $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 million, it's going to take a few years. So this suited the evening of the event really, really well. Like this organization like has a bunch of, you know, iMacs with big, beautiful screens that they had set up with this splashed across all these screens, and it's just stunning. But like, what now? Like, there's no place to give people updates about what's going on, you know, with the capital campaign, where they're at, how, you know, what their plans are for the new thing. Another thing about it, it's got these, you can't see here, but it's got these really beautiful hover effects. So if you hover over windows, these pop-ups show up and say what's going to happen inside this area of their new space and all this stuff. And it's great, but this particular organization has a lot of support from people in advertising agencies, like people that live and die by what their smartphone is telling them. You can't hover on a smartphone, right? Like, so this on a smartphone, this site is dead. Like, it does nothing except sits there and looks as gorgeous as it is. It's gorgeous, but it won't do anything. You can't do anything with it on a smartphone, and these are the kind of people they're trying to hit up for money. So my guess is that this was built in a rush with a tight and specific deadline for this capital campaign launch, and so for like a one-night shot, lovely, but going forward, there's nothing that can be done with it, and it wasn't even, you know, perfectly meeting their needs for that night with its lack of functionality for like smartphones and stuff. And it doesn't have Google Analytics in it, and we're going to get there in a minute, and that's always a bad idea. Training and support. You are going to need it to use your site. I personally believe you're going to need lots of it. This is a page. I built this site just in the spring for an organization. The process for them actually was really effective. The whole thing, we had meetings about every 3 weeks with me and their internal project coordinator, their IT person, their executive director, and one other person that I never quite understood why she was there, but it kept things moving. Like, because a lot of the work I do is for non-profits, the spring and the fall for me are brutal because it's fundraising season, so that's when everybody wants everything. And this was a pretty decent sized project that I was doing during that time, and if it weren't for those meetings, like between you and me, I never would have done anything. It was like 24 hours before one of those meetings came up, I was doing all the work I should have done in the last month, but that's just between you and me. Anyway, so training, when training came, it was a 3-hour session with all the people who've been part of the process all the way through. I gave the dynamic portions of their website, besides, you know, just their ability to change the text on every page, is a monthly, they send out, email out a monthly e-bulletin and upcoming events. So you can't really see it, but there's a calendar here, and they have this what's new section, and these are links, and the email supports everything they put in here. So they had the system to keep it going. They were already sending out these emails. Well, now you just, like, not only, like when you go to send out the emails, you're also going to update your website so that people can click a link in the email. It's going to take them to the information about that event on the website. I then, when it, you know, so for me to sit in a room with 5 people and show them how to do stuff was helpful, but when the woman who did the e-newsletter, when it was time to do it, she came to my house and we sat and did the first update together, because like I couldn't address the specifics and she was going to get stuck. So I didn't, it wasn't even, I just said, you just sit there and start doing it and I'm just going to watch. And like, you suffer for a few minutes while I watch and see if you can figure it out, and if you can't, then we'll fix it. But it worked. I haven't heard from her since, right? Like, that was like 4 or 5 months ago. I'm not saying it always has to be like that, but trying to make the training relevant to what you're actually going to do with the site is really helpful. And then I made a manual that was like step by step. Here is how you do the things that I know you're going to need to do. Yeah, I haven't heard from them in 4 months, so I'm assuming they're either not doing anything or that like it worked and they're doing it well. I'm hoping it's the latter. I'm pretty sure it is. And finally, Google Analytics. Analytics just tell you every single thing you want to know about how people get to your website and what they do when they're there. It is totally free. It is very easy to implement, and it is critical information for you to determine like what kind of content is working and not. And it gives it to you in such simple ways, like, you know, this is web hits, right? It's just, you know, there is no reason not to have this. So go tomorrow, and if you don't have this, get it and stick it in. You have to put about 10 characters into a web page. So whoever your tech person is, HTML pages, or if you already have a WordPress site, there's a plugin that will add it. You just type in your UA code, and away you go. You just need a Google account and your code, and you're laughing. But, you know, I have, this is an organization that I work with. I did their website. I used to do their email marketing, but have since trained them so they can do it by themselves. And, you know, when I went in the first time after they started doing email marketing and said, see these spikes? That's every time you sent an email, like through MailChimp in this case, and like they're blown away. It's like, oh my God, it works. I'm like, well, yeah, it works. And there's proof. Like, it's right there. Use it. It's incredible. Front page of the Toronto Star. Front page of the Toronto Star again. Like, you know, it's, you know, I mean, you assume all of these things happen, but it's incredible to have it validated with stats and bar charts. Like, if you get your organization on the cover of the Toronto Star, you are going to see a spike in hits to your website, like, through the roof, right? And so, you know, if you know that you're going to, well, well, even if it is bad, actually, it doesn't matter. You're going to get people there, one way or the other. But, you know, if you know something like that's coming, then put something like, please give us $20 today because look how great we are on the Star, and it'll probably work, right? And anyway, this will tell you everything you need to know, and it will help. And I'm done.